World War I, also known as the Great War, lasted from 1914 to 1918 and reshaped the geopolitical landscape of Europe and beyond. The British declaration of war on Germany on August 4th, 1914, marked the full escalation of the conflict into a global war involving all of the major powers of the time. After Britain's entry into the war, the Western Front quickly solidified into a grueling stalemate with both sides entrenched across from each other from the North Sea to Switzerland. The early war was characterized by a series of rapid movements, including the German advance through Belgium and into France. The German plan, known as the Schlieffen Plan, aimed to quickly defeat France before turning east to face Russia. However, this plan was thwarted at the Battle of Marne in September 1914, which decisively ended the German advance and forced both sides into trench warfare. Trench warfare dominated the Western Front, with soldiers facing horrifying conditions. The trenches were muddy, waterlogged, and infested with rats. Soldiers dealt with constant threats from sniper fire, artillery barrages, and poison gas attacks, the latter introduced by the Germans in 1915. Life in the trenches was a grim affair, with both sides suffering heavy casualties for minimal territorial gain. While the Western Front is the most infamous theater of the war, significant fighting also occurred on the Eastern Front, where the Russians faced the Central Powers. The Eastern Front was characterized by larger territorial exchanges and less trench warfare due to the larger distances and fewer troops involved. However, the Russian war effort was hampered by poor infrastructure, lack of equipment, and internal strife, leading to the Russian Revolution in 1917. The war also spread to other regions, including the Middle East, where British and Ottoman forces clashed, and the Dardanelles, where the Gallipoli campaign resulted in a costly defeat for the Allies in 1915. In Africa and Asia, colonial troops fought in campaigns that extended the war beyond Europe. World War I is noted for its significant technological innovations, which had profound impacts on how warfare was conducted. The war saw the first use of tanks on the battlefield at the Battle of Somme in 1916, an attempt to break the deadlock of trench warfare. The war also saw the extensive use of aircraft, both for reconnaissance and as a weapon in aerial combat. The use of chemical weapons marked a dark chapter in the war, with chlorine and mustard gas causing severe injuries and death. The war at sea was dominated by the British Royal Navy's blockade of Germany, which aimed to cut off supplies to the Central Powers. The Germans responded with unrestricted submarine warfare, which targeted military and civilian ships alike, eventually led to the sinking of the Lusitania in 1915, a factor in bringing in the United States in 1917. The United States initially remained neutral, but several factors, including the sinking of the Lusitania and the Zimmermann Telegram, in which Germany encouraged Mexico to join the war against the US, and ongoing German submarine attacks on American ships, led the US declaring war on Germany in April 1917. The influx of fresh American troops in 1918 was a significant boost to the Allied powers. By 1918, the Central Powers were weakening. The Allied forces, bolstered by American troops and resources, launched a series of offensives that began with the Second Battle of Marne in July 1918. These offensives pushed back the German forces repeatedly, leading to the collapse of the German front. The war's conclusion came with the signing of armistice on November 11, 1918 at 11 a.m., which marked a cessation of hostilities on the Western Front but did not end the war officially. That would come with the Treaty of Versailles in 1919. The Armistice Day is still commemorated as a moment of reflection on the tremendous costs of war. World War I was an unprecedented catastrophe that resulted in the deaths of millions and the reshaping of European and world borders. The war saw the collapse of empires, the redrawing of maps, and set the stage for even more devastating war, World War II. The legacy of World War I is a testament to the tragedy of war and the importance of diplomacy in resolving international conflict. If you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and if you have any suggestions you would like us to cover, please let us know in the comments.